Morning. Look, we've been through this up and down, Cheryl, Joe, Rebecca, and we know what government has done with Twitter. 1,000 people in government agencies working with Twitter to suppress information. Hillary's breaking story this week was that they were doing the same thing with YouTube, Cheryl.
And that's the frustrating part about these corporations, these companies, whether it's Alphabet and Google, YouTube, and these companies were more than happy to go along with the Biden administration. We're not just talking about the COVID vaccine information. We're also talking about conservatives, many conservatives that were silenced, censored. That's been happening for years. And it shows the political bias of these companies. Marie, I've told you this before. I believe that companies need to stay out of politics. Disney does not need to be wading into what's going on in the state of Florida, and these companies do not need to be having private conversations, back-channel conversations with the White House and the Biden administration, so that the Biden administration can get out what they want to have out and squash what they don't want to be out there. That's the First Amendment, and I find it hysterical that Dan Goldman was actually trying to discredit the laptop. I mean, that was just ludicrous. We've seen the contents. Come on.
Well, look, Joe, he's the new Adam Schiff. Look, he's the new Adam Schiff was going on all TV networks in 2017 saying that there was evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia, and it was, quote, in plain sight. He's never apologized for that. So now you got Dan Goldman trying to emulate Adam Schiff.
Incontrovertible evidence is what Adam Schiff told us. And God bless the distinguished gentleman from Manhattan, Dan Goldman, a man who, I remind people, one of the richest members of Congress, born on third base, says he hit a triple, and now is convinced that he can go out here and try to relitigate what the FBI has already confirmed as fact, that the laptop from hell is actually real, that the contents of that laptop paint a picture of a son joint at the hip with the father, doing business on behalf of the entire family, even though the two of them have insisted that neither one of them have worked together or made money together. So this is the undeniable reality, whether he wants to acknowledge it or not. And it happens in the shadow of a pretty staggering and damning reality that we had our own government having private companies build back doors to spy on U.S. citizens. So we need to finally regulate big tech like the utilities that they are. We need to finally get to the point where we have members of Congress who don't think that they can help combat misinformation by using their perch in Congress to spread misinformation.
Unbelievable. Rebecca, your thoughts?
Maria, I just want to make a point as a lawyer here, because Dan Goldman intentionally tried to make this about a term of service, private companies. That is false. We have so much case law that shows state action is when the government is taking action, it becomes governmental action. It doesn't even matter if Dan is correct, then they're just trying to point out, oh, this doesn't comply with your terms of service. The fact that we are paying our federal government to employ people to look at social media and then notify a private company that their terms of services aren't being followed, that makes it governmental action. It is censorship, and let's just call it what it is. Do not try to confuse us.
This is why we need term limits, because people are getting sick and tired of all of these political stunts. Stop with the political stunts already. And let's just also look at the same information and truth and search for the truth. We are just getting started this hour. We've got